I'm Royal Ivey. We got my guy, DJ Augustin, and my other guy, Nick Shuley. Welcome to the first episode of the brUTherhood. That's brUTherhood with a U and a T. I'm gonna kick this thing off. As you know, I'm Royal Ivey, played at UT from 2000 to 2004. The only Final Four team. That 49 Final Four team doesn't count. UT had a great run, the Elite Eight, but we're still at the top. Humble brag. I'm actually coaching with the Brooklyn Nets, assistant coach. This is going on my third year. I've been coaching for the last 7 years. 1 year in the G League in Oklahoma City with the Blue. 2 years with Oklahoma City. 2 years with the Knicks and 3 years with the Brooklyn Nets. On another note, coaching has been my passion. I've loved it. I'm coaching in South Sudan as well. This summer, we qualified for the World Cup. So first African team on the first attempt to qualify for the World Cup. And I will be leading those young group of men into the battle. And hopefully we will shock some people. So anyway, moving forward, I like to intro my other guests or co-guests or co-star or whatever you want to call them, DJ Augustin.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Augustin. Went to UT 06 through 08, drafted by the Bobcats. Just finished my 15th season in the NBA. Just looking forward to new opportunities now that I possibly could be done playing basketball, and we're starting here with this show. Excited to be doing this with my guys. brUTherhood, that's what we believe in, what we stick to. It's been like that since I met Roy and all those guys back, in my younger years at UT. And, excited to talk about UT basketball, excited to talk about NBA, just everything going on, man. We just ready to do this show. And, like I said, just spent 15 years in the NBA, long career. Don't know what's next, but just open to anything.
What's up, y'all? This is Nick Shuley. I don't have any good UT basketball background except that I've been friends with all these guys and used to live with some of them. So that, that's my qualification. But besides that, I work in marketing and worked with everyone from Lance Armstrong. I still work with Bo Jackson, but also started Clark Field Collective and helped start the Texas One Fund for UT's NIL efforts. So we kind of run everything having to do with name, image, and likeness opportunities around the University of Texas. So we're around a lot of what's going on, and especially the current teams, et cetera. So looking forward to adding some of that and helping keep this thing moving and helping keep you two from fighting too much during the recording.
Nah, it's all love. So my question is, why the brUTherhood? Like, what was the whole concept behind the brUTherhood, the name, just the play on the UT? Why are we doing it? What's the purpose behind this podcast? And, our listeners should tune in because why?
Yeah, I mean, Roy, I think that's a question for you too. I think that's for you and DJ about, I think it's just, I think everyone in the audience is going to enjoy hearing y'all's perspective as people who, especially now that with the coaching changes, et cetera. I think there's a lot, you guys have a lot more ties to what's going on there, and a lot of the staff between Coach Terry, Frank Haith, and Chris Ogden and some of these guys. I think there's such a connection now, and I think people will enjoy hearing that. DJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, it just goes back to my freshman year at UT, where I met Roy and TJ Ford, and those guys just kind of took me under their wing. They helped me out, the challenges I was about to face at UT, being a freshman, playing for Rick Barnes, playing on that level. And, those guys at the time were already in the NBA where I wanted to be. So just starting that friendship and that mentorship with those guys at that particular time was just vital for my career and my life. And that's where it all started. It was a real brotherhood. We never expected anything from each other. We never, we always was there for each other. Every time I played against Roy when he was in Philly, he'll come pick me up, take me to all the the sandwich spots and the clothing stores. You know, he tried to get me to buy a couple fur coats, but I wasn't with that at the time.
That's that New York
Come
in him.
on, that paint, that killer can paint.
Yeah, nah. So, you know, same thing with TJ. Whenever I played against him, he'd come pick me up. We'll go eat, you know, do things, and it just continued on. In the summertime, we always got together, played against each other, worked out together, and you know, just there for each other. And you know, we built that, and we tried to do the same things with all the guys that come, you know, after us. And I mean, that's what the brotherhood means to me. And just continuing this, you know, even with the guys that's at UT now, you know, just being there, reaching out to them and letting them know we're here for them, you know, whether it's on the court or off the court.
It's a great answer.
Yeah, Roy, what does that mean to you, man? That
it means everything. Texas is family. It's really family. It's where I, you know, became a man, learned, you know, structure, you know, from Coach Barnes, learn about camaraderie, learn, you know, how to basically carve out your own niche in life. And I say Texas is family because without Texas, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, them giving me a chance and investing in a kid from New York City. I had big aspirations, but you know, I'm the typical dude off the street. If I can make it, anybody can make it. And I did it with sheer determination and will. But the friendships I made, the relationships I made throughout Texas, from TJ Ford, from DJ, from the Marcus, you know, I feel like we had to come back and be that glue to connect these young guys and teach them what it was about in the NBA, you know. And I wanted that family, you know, back in Texas, because you hear about the other big schools, the UNCs, and guys coming back to hoop. So, you know, TJ and I kind of started that, coming back and giving back time and giving back service with the guys. And it just every year, it kept on growing. We have a long lineage of guys in the NBA now, and we all are family, and we all bonded because we played in the NBA, or we played overseas, and we went to the university in Texas, and that's the connection. So we're trying to keep on building this bridge with the younger guys, with the older guys, and forming this link, because we got a lot of guys, and we can do a lot of special things in the community and business, and it's endless, it's infinite. And we're gonna keep on bridging this gap, and this is like, you know, first base right now, this podcast. You know, we're gonna have a lot of special guests coming on, telling stories, you know, coaches. It's gonna be real, and I'm glad I got my brother DJ, and we got another guy he's missing. I'm not gonna say his name, but we'll get him down the line. But this is special to me because now we get to hear stories, we get to tell stories, we get to, you know, communicate, argue, whatever it is, it's gonna be great. But I'm glad to be on here with my brothers. Even you, Nick, we go way back. I was, you know, the story, I was sleeping on Nick's couch, going back to school, you know, working out at the gym. Nick and Brad Buckman. And
St. Michael's, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were working out every day. You know, Nick was going, rebounding the balls for us, pause. But at the same time, it was just like, he's family, man. We go back, and it's nothing but love, and we're going to move this thing. We're going to grow this thing, because this thing is special. Texas is a special place with special people, and along the line, we met our financial guy at Texas.
AG.
Our financial guy, AG, Adam Gracely, big shout out, was the manager. So it's like, this is real Texas tie. This is real family. We got years invested in each other, and our families are tight, and this is just the beginning. So this is something new for me as well, and I'm glad to be aboard.
Yeah,
Yes,
guys, and
sir.
I think something that you know, a lot of the listeners and fans would want to hear is that they, you know, DJ, like who are the guys, especially, you know, former Texas guys in the NBA or not, that you keep kind of in the closest contact with? I know you said, you know, obviously TJ and Roy and those guys, but anybody else that you kind of keep a regular contact with?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously TJ and Roy, Avery Bradley, we're real close. You know, Tristan, those guys. I saw D Gibb the other day when we played Cleveland, the Cavaliers, a couple of weeks ago. You know, we don't communicate as much, but, you know, just seeing him, you know, it feels like we, you know, was back at school. You know, obviously KD, that's my boy, that's my Booby, yeah, Booby's world. KD, that's my brother. You know, I mean, you know, we were roommates in college. We shared a lot of things together, a lot of memories. You know, who else? I mean, it's so many guys, man. We got a lot of players. PJ Tucker, you know, the Shoe King. He just opened up a fire.
I got stories for days about PJ.
He opened up a fire shoe store down here too in Houston, so it's fire.
Oh, really?
So I'm happy. Yeah, it's nice. I'm happy for him with that. You know, just a lot of guys, man. We all stay in touch. Obviously, we all got different things going on, you know, family and career and things like that. But we all, you know, whenever we get together, it's like we never left. And we just stay in touch, man. You know, we try to get together every summer, like Roy said, and go back to UT. And I feel like, especially now with RT getting the head job, I mean that's gonna be a no-brainer for all of us. Gonna be going back, you know, because you know once Rick left, you know, who was my coach, Rick Barnes, you know, it was. You know, Shaka reached out, Coach Beard reached out. You know, different coaches reached out, but it wasn't the same feeling. You know, like Roy talked about that family, and RT was there when I was in school, and Roy was in school, and
Big
that's
facts.
like, yeah, he's like a father figure. You know, so by him being the head guy now, it's like, oh, I'm going back for sure. I don't care what's going on. So. I feel like
we're gonna tell TJ to bring back his bowling event. Yeah, I feel you on that. Definitely.
Yeah.
With RT being a coach, the energy is different. Like, you know, that's one of us. You know, I knew RT when he had a head full of hair and, you know, he wasn't wearing them bug-eyed glasses, but RT definitely is like, you know, a father figure. He's definitely cut from the fabric that we are cut from. He's a phenomenal leader. He's a phenomenal person. He's a great communicator. He's what the university needed, for sure. And we're gonna support him. We're gonna come in numbers. We're gonna be down there in summer in the gym with the young guys. Like, we're gonna bring it back because that's what it's about. Like, the family's back. The family reunion's about to be bombed this year. We're gonna turn it up, and RT's definitely gonna turn this program back to where it needs to be. This is a top 5 program, could be easily because of all the talent in Texas. If you recruit Texas right, you win every time. It's a no-brainer. So he's a great recruiter, a great communicator, a great leader of men. He's definitely got the program pointing in the right direction. And the support from the alumni is key. And I feel like if we get behind them, it's going to be unstoppable. That's going to help recruit, and it's going to help a lot of different aspects of the program. But RT, congrats. We love you. We'll be down there this summer. We're going to get you on the podcast, you know, and we're going to have fun with this.
Yeah, I think DJ, along those lines, what's your give me some of your favorite RT stories, or how he changed your life, your career, anything like that, or, you know, funniest moments or things that you think people should know about him.
Yeah, man, RT's just one of those guys. Like, I can remember, you know, a lot of times, obviously we're away from our families. You know, we're 18 years old, 17 years old. You know, and we're going through the ringer in practices, 4-hour practices, you know, Coach Barnes yelling and screaming at us. But I remember RT would always, you know, get us together, go to barbecue at his house and do things like that. Come pick us up, take us to do things, you know, keep that, you know, that family environment around us. Like I said, like a father figure. You know, not only was he a great coach, he just knew how to talk to us. He knew how to relate to us. You know, he was always around. He was always available. You know, and a coach, you know, I got a funny story, you know, I don't know if y'all remember AJ Abrams.
Yeah. Shoot all the balls.
Yeah. So he was getting kind of mad with Coach Barnes. Coach Barnes was doing his normal, you know, fussing at us, yelling and screaming. And AJ was kind of getting mad. And, something happened and AJ kind of swelled up his chest. And, I remember RT, you know, RT, Roy.
Energy.
Hey,
come on, guys.
He looked at AJ and said, "Hey, Chief, you ain't gonna do shit. So just sit down." You know, so that was just funny to me. Like, he just always kept it calm and funny, even in you know, in kind of hostile environments. He was just that guy that kind of kept things calm. And you saw that during the run this year when he took over. He kept everything calm. He controlled the sidelines. The guys listened to him. They connected with him, and it was the same for me. I felt like I was watching us back when we was in school. So I know what he does to a team, and I'm like I said, like Roy said, we just happy for him, proud of him, and I call him all the time.
Yeah, I think
that
that's
cool composure.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it showed, right? Like I think they were set up for all the stuff they went through in that whole situation. Having somebody like Coach Terry there that's been there, that's been through it, that's been a head coach, like it was kind of a fortuitous thing that he was there, able to step in and just you guys talk about it, somebody that's already so like he's so tight knit into Texas, et cetera. So I just think that like having that was just such a blessing. Like Roy, do you have any of those?
But for
similar
me,
stories?
like it was all set up. Let's be real. He was set up for failure. Like nobody gave him a chance to basically be the head coach,
Yeah.
He basically had stipulations that he had to reach to become the head coach. So he did a phenomenal job. He was National Coach of the Year, and that speaks numbers for me. So the fact that you had all these negative energies pointed towards you saying you weren't going to get it and you flipped that's manifesting what you really want. And he deserved that. He manifested that. Like that was his job and nobody was going to take it. But
agreed. If you read any of the websites or the message boards, like nobody gave Coach Terry any chance. They're like, he's got to win the championship to get there. But I think he proved everyone wrong. Took him to the Elite
Eight. But that's fans. They don't know what's going on in the locker room. They never met the man. They don't know, how he moved, who he is,
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, it's like, it's, with the whole social media platform, people have a voice and they everything's subjective. So it's like, I could say how I feel, this is my opinion, and I'm valid for my opinion, which is cool. But at the end of the day, we know the nooks and cranny. We know what this guy is made of, his DNA. And he's a Texas guy. He's from Texas. So why not be? Because we used to be the top of the hill. Like University of Texas used to be at the top of the hill and everybody was aiming for us. Baylor won a national championship. So we're no longer the top dogs in Texas anymore. So it's like, it's time to restore, some of that magic again. And RT has the DNA for it. You got to get somebody that's cut from the cloth. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah, and just like Roy said, like his character, man, like RT, with all the odds stacked against him, his character just always prepared, always ready. Scouting report, every time he did a scouting report when I was there, he was ready. He had us prepared. And you could tell he was prepared for this moment, even though he didn't know it was coming. He was always just his character of always being ready, always being prepared for the opportunity, and it fell right in his lap, and he took advantage of it. And that's just his character. That's how he's always been.
That's a fact. And to add on to that point, the fact that he got the head coaching job and brought back Frank Haith says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot, man, about somebody's character. To bring back that somebody was sitting next to you while you were assistant coach and you were grinding says a lot. Says that you're my brother, I trust your work, and we're going to get this back to where it needs to go. And then you go on and go get yourself another head coaching job, because this is a platform where you become a assistant coach, you win, and then you move on. You become a head coach. It's a hot spot. And once this program is running, that's what happened, And we got a lot of former assistant coaches turned head coaches that are from the Texas pedigree. Mike Schwartz at Eastern Carolina, Russell Springman, Oral Roberts, Rob Lanier at SMU. So the list goes on. Like, you got to take care of your people and grow this. And the fact that he brought back Frank, smooth hair, suit wearing, that's definitely a testament to who he is as a person. They're gonna get it done.
Roy, I know you played for Coach Haith, so I think a lot of people will want to hear kind of your experience with him and a little bit about him, so people understand who he is. And the fact that he went 30-5 at Missouri.
Yeah, Haith was on me every day, pulling me aside. Like, man, I was so frustrated my second year, and he helped me, you know, get my composure, get my poise, get my focus back, just by inviting me into his home. You know, when it was Easter time or Christmas, one Christmas, I miss going back home, and he invited me into his house, and you know, I had food. I even got gifts. It was crazy. And it's like, I don't know if it was a play, but that was who he really was. It's like, he's a high character guy, and you got to have high character guys around you for things to work, because it's energy, it's synergy. You know, you can't have a bullshit guy, you know, working at your university as an assistant coach, because that's not good energy. So Haif has been like a big brother to me, you know. From day one, always there when you need him, and I'm glad he's back. It's crazy. Life is like a full circle, man.
Yep.
And, you know, when you're good to people and, you know, you're kind to people and you do the right things work in your favor. So kudos to Frank Haif back in that burnt orange. You know what it is.
Yeah, guys, and I think that kind of, I'm glad y'all can provide some background on you know, the coaches, et cetera. And I think now we should talk about, you know, we obviously, if people know what happened this year, the Elite Eight run, the kind of, you know, Big 12 championship, et cetera. The guys had a super successful year, but now it's, you know, now we're in this new college basketball world with the, you know, the transfer portal and all of these things. And so I think it's kind of added a whole new level to the off season and what happens. And I mean, like, look, this current team was built through the transfer portal. It was, you know, you had Timmy Allen from Utah, Dylan DeSue from Vandy. You had Tyrese Hunter from Iowa State, Marcus Carr from Minnesota, Jabari Rice from New Mexico, or was it New Mexico State?
Yeah,
it was New Mexico State. And then and then, you know, Christian Bishop from Creighton, and then, you know, some of these freshmen. So I think this coming year is going to look a lot, in my opinion, like the first year that Coach Beard was there, where you kind of have to put together this team because you're losing a lot of guys and that you know that were there, and they're having to replace some talent. So I think we're going to see a lot of how great a recruiter that Coach Terry is, and not just for high school. Look, they've got, I don't know if you guys have seen this kid Ron Holland play. He was Mr. Basketball in Texas. Did you guys see any of his stuff at the World Games or anything like that?
I saw him
he had
in
like
McDonald's.
15 points and like 7 rebounds or something like that.
He's a great player.
Like
I heard someone compare him to kind of Josh Howard's game, which I liked, and you can see that he's got this. It's like a small forward, yeah, but he's like a point small forward, yeah.
Handle the ball. Basically, the transfer portal is like free agency, so that's what I compare it to.
Yeah, that's what it was
NBA.
sounding like. I was about to ask y'all because I'm not too up on the transfer portal, but when listening to y'all, I'm like, that sounds like free agency.
Jump in this transfer portal like they jumping in the DMs. Like they jump in the transfer portal, and is guys that don't play that at Radford or Austin P, and you know, maybe they want to get closer to home, or because the guys from mid-majors that are killing it, they jumping in it and they go to high D1. So it's crazy how it works. It's free agency. It's basically, it's like,
that's what it sounds like.
And they chasing the bag too now because the NIL too. So
right.
So these coaches are promising guys money. It's nasty out here. So if you are in college basketball, you better get a GM. You better get a GM because it's free agency. Because like you said, Texas is left with a couple players because we got a couple players that jumped in the transfer portal from UT. And now look at it. It's like, oh, well, if coach promised me 20 minutes and I don't get my 20 minutes, I'm a transfer. Like, that's my out. So it's crazy now, and it's hurting the kids from high school being recruited.
Right.
Because of the transfer portal.
Right.
So they're going to go get a junior that was at Manhattan College that they know he's already been in the system. He knows what college basketball is about. We don't have to develop him really, and we can plug and play and insert him right in, and he works. So it's
that's
new.
what I did. That's what I did see during the tournament, though, the games I watched, though. You could tell that these kids was, coming from the transfer program because they was already ready to play. They didn't look like freshmen. You know what I'm saying? They didn't look like high school kids learning the game, learning the college game. They looked like they had been in it for a while, So,
Dylan Dessou, he goes off, what he had, 28?
Yeah, he had a couple huge games.
He had 28, and, he's not a freshman. He's like a super senior now.
He led the SEC in rebounding as a freshman or sophomore, I believe, at Vandy. He was big time, but yeah, he definitely took it to another level.
And he's a Texas kid.
Yeah, Pflugerville. No, an Austin kid.
He came back. So it's that's the way to go. I mean, that's a sure win if you get guys that are already ready and a little battle tested, and you can coach them up. They play hard, but
I think it's interesting. I think you guys touched on something that I think will fascinate people. Is I think it's going to shift the landscape of the game, right? The big schools have become almost the NBA of college, and then some of the smaller schools are the places where people go to develop. It's like the G League or places like that where those kids get a chance to show their stuff. So in a sense, as much as people talk about the transfer portal and NIL hurting the smaller schools, I think what'll happen is some of these better recruits, you're not talking top 100, but some of these guys they're good players are going to be going to smaller schools, having to show themselves, do their thing, and then go to the next level. So I'm really interested to see what happens kind of with the rules and how many times they're going to let kids transfer and what the NCAA does with that. But I think it's definitely shifted that. And I think we'll see that this summer. I think Texas right now has 5 or 6 scholarship guys coming back. So it's definitely a rebuild and kind of and they've got two big time kids coming in. They got Ron Holland, who we talked about, who was Mr. Basketball in Texas and McDonald's All-American, and then I'm failing on his name, AJ, who was Jalen Green's little brother, AJ Johnson, I think.
Yeah, but no point guard though. What's going on with Tyrese Hunter? Is he coming back? He put his name in the
no
draft.
Agent though. No agent,
so he's eligible to come back. But still, for me, college, you got to run a 2-guard offense. So who's your other point guard? Who's your other creator? Who's your other ball handler beside Tyrese Hunter? You have none. The kid, Arturio, is transferring. He would be your ideal number 2 guy. He would take car place. But you got to get a point guard. Guards are very essential in the Big 12. You got to have a guy that can, drive the ship. And that's a question mark right now. So they need to fill that as soon as possible. The kid from Rice, he's a candidate to come to Texas, right?
Quincy Oliveri, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, man, he went off on Texas. That was RT's first game as the coach when all that stuff was happening, and Rice almost got us.
So hopefully we sign him. It's getting real, narrow right now. Guys, the kid Nemhart, he just committed to Arizona. He would have been a big pickup. That would have been nice because I watched him against UT and he was getting to it.
That's the kid who brothers in the league, right?
Yeah, he plays for the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers.
Transferred?
He transferred from Creighton to Arizona.
Wow. Well, and I know I heard, or at least read, that they were going after Max Amos, the kid from Oral Roberts.
Really?
That kid can play. He was scoring 20 a game.
He averaged 30. Didn't he lead the nation in scoring?
I think the year before or something like that. Yeah, he's a big time player. So there's some big names. There's the Shadrick kid from Virginia, who's a 6'11" post, who's really good. These are all the things, the rumors that have popping up. But yeah, there's a ton of talent in there, but it's we'll see how it kind of falls out. But I think that Coach Terry's got a good plan, and I know they're going to be heavily involved in that.
So is Ron Hollins one and done? Is he one and done? Is he that kind of guy? Is he that kind of talent? Is the kid Dylan Mitchell coming back? These are some question marks. Just because you're a McDonald's All-American doesn't mean you're going to be one and done. Doesn't mean you're going to get drafted. Doesn't mean you're going to make it to the NBA.
Every kid coming in feels like they one and done.
If you're McDonald's,
yeah, for
not
sure.
every kid.
I feel like every kid.
You felt like you were one and done?
No, I'm not. No, I didn't.
You was a McDonald's. I'm saying, like,
I know.
Okay, some of the guys that were in your class that were one and done. Name them.
KD.
Okay, that's no-brainer.
Greg Oden.
No-brainer.
Mike Conley.
Okay, he was one and done.
It's a lot of them, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like every kid, even some non-McDonald's All-Americans, feel like they one and done, like they not staying in school. I'm telling you, bro, they got the G League now.
That's delusional. That's being delusional.
I
but
agree.
If you go in at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, you're gonna be one and done. Or
no,
like what are we talking about?
The bigger schools. Yeah, big
like
school.
Those guys. You can go to K-State.
And they feel like they want it. That's what they feel. That's what they believe, bro. I'm telling you.
That's what everybody assumed with Dillon Mitchell and with Arterio. And I mean, Arterio is obviously transferring, and so he'll be in college another year, and then we'll see what happens with Dillon. I've heard everything from, a high second round to mid second round grade or late first round, but also
he needs to stay another year. That would be my advice.
I've heard there's a good chance that he might. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, but
he needs to stay another year, play about 20 plus minutes, and just be a rebounding, blocking shots, flying up the court, finishing on people, and then you can probably secure a first rounder. But why? People are chasing, kids are going to chase the money regardless because of the G League. And now they even added a third two-way spot. So it's going to guys going to be putting their names in left and right to get up here to just to be placed in the G League for 2-3 years when you're not ready. And you're making money.
That's a good thing about NIL, man, is that
but the NIL is way more than the two-way. So you can sign an NIL deal for $700K. A two-way is only $500, And guys don't know that. They just want to say, oh, I'm in the league and want to live that life.
Right.
But you want to set yourself up for longevity. So at the end of the day, you got to make smarter decisions and not just go off of, I'm 40, I'm projected here. Like, if you didn't get a guarantee in the first round or something like that, you need to stay in school. School is not as bad as it was for us. Y'all getting money now.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of this talk comes down to, you said it, you got to have a good GM, and I think, we'll see what happens, but I know that Chris Ogden, former UT player, he was kind of running that GM role under Coach Beard, and then, when all that stuff went down, Coach Ogden went back to the bench and kind of became a coach again. So I think we'll see a lot. Roy, I know you and Augie played together. And then DJ, you guys didn't cross, did you? You didn't cross.
Yeah, Augie was an assistant when he was.
Oh, he was?
I don't know if he was a grad assistant when I was there.
That's right. His hair still, right?
Yeah.
Now he got that mean comb over like this.
He's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you.
Augie's like my other brother. He's like my brother from another mother, for real. Like, me and Augie got in fist fight, so that's for another day. But anything I say on this, I could tell Augie to his face. But I love that dude. I'm glad he's in the role that he's in because he's a connector and he's going to build it out. He has the relationships. He knows the landscape of Texas and the basketball program. He's been a part of a Final Four. He's been a part of, Big 12 championships. Like, he's done it all at that level. And I think he can mastermind this whole situation and get it going. So, we're entrusting Augie in a lot of things, but I think he's the guy to get it done.
People don't remember.
Like I said, he's cut from the cloth. So you got to be cut from the cloth, man, because life is full circle. So you're going to go back to the source. Like, the source for me is Texas. When I'm done coaching and doing whatever my next endeavors are, I'm coming back to Austin because that's where all my relationships are. That's where all my people are. They all in Texas. My guys are in Texas. So, like, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, Chris Ogden, get it going, get those collectives going, because it's about the money. Let's keep it 100. It's about the money. Kids want to, they're hearing kids getting 200, 300K, 400K. If you can guarantee some of that bread, you're gonna get kids for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a tough thing with the way the rules are set up. There's no, that's not an official part of the conversation. So you have to figure out. So I mean, that's kind of what we've done on the collective side, is try to create a standard of, hey, like, these are factual things that the coaches can talk about when they're on the road. Of like, look, we can't promise you anything, but we can say every guy on the team made X this year at least, or things like that. You can talk about factual information around NIL. But, it's and none of that, nothing can happen or get going really until they're actually enrolled in school. So it's an interesting setup, man. And it's, I mean, obviously there's a lot of places that are running wild, and we're trying to do our best to keep everything 100% legal at Texas, because it's tough, man, especially with the environment and with the way some of the other schools operate. It makes it tough. And if you want to follow the rules, it puts you at a little bit of a, I wouldn't say disadvantage, but it makes it tougher. But I do think the good thing about Texas is people know that we take care of the kids, and every single kid that comes through here gets taken care of and gets the things they need.
So a walk-on gets a check?
Yeah, they participated in a lot of the events, man. We definitely had them in. I will say, gosh, we had, I think, 3 or 4 events. So they definitely got some NIL opportunities.
You don't have to disclose the money. When you say
events, you talking like almost like appearances almost?
Yeah, so that's the way you do it. So a lot of it's quid pro quo, right? Like, that's the deal. That's the main rule, is that in order for a kid to get paid, they have to do something. And so what we would do was we created events. Like, that was the way this all came about. Was I met Andrew Jones and Jace Fevers, and they were just talking about how hard it was out there. And this is like November of the time the law was passed, and that started in July. And so I figured Texas had all this stuff going on, and like most schools, there wasn't a ton going on, and my thought was, hey, there's enough money in Austin. Let's figure out how to get every kid on the team at least $5,000, $10,000, at least $5,000 a semester. So just something to live on, because that's what Jace was saying. Jace was like, I just want to take my girl out to eat. I want to go to the movies. I want to do these things, and I don't have any money. And so what we did was created a meet and greet event we just did it at a music venue, and then had like a band and some fajitas, and invited out a lot of the donors and their kids and grandkids. And so we did kind of an autograph session, photos with everybody, and everybody had the best time, and all the kids walked away with the check, and it was great. But we do that, that's kind of on the for-profit side, and then on the non-profit side, we'll have we partner with charities in the local community, and pay these kids to come out to charitable events to help for fundraisers, whether it's galas, dinners, all the way to like we had a bunch of the football guys last week out. They were planting stuff at one of the the homeless shelters and sorting clothes for the homeless shelter. And so the kids it's cool, because we're creating opportunities where they actually get out into the community. And tomorrow we have a big one with a bunch of the football guys at the co-op. So they're going to go out there and meet a lot of the fans and help raise funds for for textbooks for underprivileged kids and things like that. So it's really activating the community. And I think that's the part that people don't get. It's not just like, we're not just sitting here, it's not some pay for play thing. We're actually, we're making sure the kids are activated and getting out in the community.
That's so you hear it first here. Our NIL deals are official. No, we're not giving book bags, the money in the book bags, the money in the brown paper bags. None of that is going on over here at Texas. No sirree, Bob.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, the kids are, the kids will agree that we take really good care of them and make sure. And we also, like, it's not just that. Like, I don't know if I told you all this, but we had, one of the football guys, Diamante Tucker Dorsey, who was a transfer from James Madison, and he started this year for a while, and he kind of was thinking about going to the NFL, then decided not to, and came to me and said, man, I want to figure out my next. And so he told me that he always wanted to do real estate. So I connected him with my boss at my other job, who is Gary Keller from Keller Williams Realty. And so they got him. He's now an official agent, passed his exam. And I've been doing that with a lot of the kids. Like, we met up with Jabari and some of these guys. Just, I think Jabari is going to have a good career in playing wherever he ends up. He was saying he's great in low second round, but I think whether he ends up in the NBA or Europe, he's going to do fine. But just helping to talk to the kids about opportunities, what they're looking to do, connect them with business leaders in the community. I think those are the things that, you guys talk about the brotherhood. I want that also to extend to, the people who care about Texas and Texas basketball and want to help these kids, whether or not they end up playing pro or things like that. I think that's the key. That's the thing I think we do differently at Texas, is actually try to, develop the kids and help them pass. what happens. And I mean, even kids like Rowan Brumbaugh, who just transferred out, Rowan and I were texting because I'm like, man, I'm gonna miss you. Like, you're the man and stuff like that. And he was just like, thank y'all. And it's just cool. Like, there's a good
once
connection.
a horn, always a horn.
Agreed.
Once you put on that jersey, you always a horn.
I wish they had stuff like that for us when we played, man. God,
listen.
God.
You sound like an old timer saying that.
Man. I got $300 a month, $300 a month, man.
Did you get a Pell Grant?
Huh?
You got a Pell Grant too, and a needy fund
I didn't get
clothes.
That. I didn't get none of that.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't qualify for it.
Probably not.
I got it.
Huh?
I got a Pell Grant. I got
don't know.
needy fund. I bought clothes. I had Pradas on.
You gonna have compliance.
No. See,
you gonna have compliance on your
compliance.
ass.
So but PJ Tucker is like the king of the floors, and he was like the first dude I seen with a pair of like Skittle color. They were like red patent leather Pradas, and I was like, oh, I gotta get a pair, and I got a pair like blue. Like navy blue, candy coated patent leather Pradas with my needy fund. I was like, I'm gonna spend this $400 on pair of Pradas, and I did it. Following PJ Tucker, because that dude spent money from the beginning, and he's still spending money now.
Well, I mean, that's another key part of NIL with us, is that we try to help the kids understand the value of the money, understand, we're not financial advisors, and that's not what we want to do, but also understanding, putting them in touch with people who can help them with investing,
financial literacy.
Just knowing, like, just because you get it doesn't mean you got to spend it right now, and also understanding, you got quarterly taxes, you've got other things now that these kids are really having to learn about, that if you get, $5,000, you can't spend $5,000. You got to save some of that for tax and those
but
pieces.
Even like you said, it's not even just about the money though. It's about these relationships that you putting these kids with. Because I think to me, that's more important than the money. Because at the end of the day, even being in the NBA for the last 15 years, my first 6 years in the league, Roy, all those events and appearances we go to, we got to sit there and mingle with these people, these business people, courtside season ticket holders, and we just trying to get up out of there and get home. We just had practice, tired, got a road trip coming up. And then after like my 6-7 years, I said, man, let me start taking advantage of this and start emailing these people when they give me their business card and doing these things. I wish I'd have did that early in my career. But shit, that. I got relationships with people now that, I've done business with, so I think that, to me, hearing that is probably the biggest thing over the money. Like you said, putting a kid with the real estate, company and those things, like he might own properties. If he don't make it in the NFL, he gets hurt or whatever the case may be, and he has something to fall back on, because, we didn't have that. We had it's basketball or nothing, so just having those other opportunities and meeting these people and building these relationships while you in college, that trumps the money for me.
Yeah, it's like, for me, guys think they're gonna play basketball forever, and there's no there's onboarding, but there's no offboarding. There's no, okay, what do you do afterwards? And we have to figure that out. And a lot of guys suffer from trauma, from relationships, from being screwed by their financial advisor, taking money. And, it gets dark for a lot of guys. I know you're transitioning into retirement, and there's going to be a lot of times where you don't have the answer at that point in time, because it's just like you kind of get lost. You got all this free time, all this idle time, but tapping into those relationships are the utmost. I kept my relationships throughout basketball with GMs and coaches and things of that nature, and I wasn't aspiring to be a coach, but it just happened. But a lot of guys have no roadmap, after basketball, and it's tough because this is all we do. This is all we know. This is what we invest our mind, our body, our everything into. And then when it's all over, it's like, okay, now we transition into life too, and we don't know how to operate. You know, whether you have the money, whether you are dead broke, it's just, there's no offboarding. Even at the university, the guys that don't make it to the highest level of basketball, what do? How do they, you know, how they incorporate it into, you know, getting these opportunities to learn about real estate and learn about different markets that they can intertwine into to possibly get opportunities from former alumni. You know, we have to build this community of helping, you know, these athletes out and offboarding them when their careers are over, whether it's 4 years of college basketball or 14 years of professional basketball. We have to have some kind of mentorship, some kind of community where guys can come back and feel safe and be helped and it's a service. We can help you with this, we can help you with that. If you didn't get your degree, blase. And I think we need to formulate something moving forward with this group.
Well, I think that's part of what we're working on in Clark Field, but I think even more so how to tie you all together, you know, with that. I think, look, somebody's going to half listen to me, whereas if it's DJ Augustin or Royal Ivey or TJ Ford saying, hey, get out there, talk to people, meet people while you're doing this. You got this moment where all these people want to be a part of what you're doing. And
yeah,
I think
we got to show them. We can't just say, go do it. They don't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it at 18 years old. I didn't have the courage to go up and stand in front of this venture capitalist and he's talking to me and he's talking over my head and I'm supposed to be like engaged. Like there's no manuscript for us. There's nobody saying, yo, you're an African-American kid from New Jersey or New York and you walk in this room and you feel uncomfortable and they're not taught how to like interact with people. So guess what? Their first thought in your mind is to flee. It's to run and I got to get out of here and it's not worth it. And I'm 21 where you meeting this, I met my mentor when I was a sophomore in college and we're forever friends, but you know, that was connected through a third party. Like I didn't meet him straight up, you know? So like, I think it's our service to help these kids and put them in a room with these guys and say, this is a guy, if you ever needed something, boom, 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 here's his number. And that's how you lead it up. Text him, you know, go out to dinner, invite him to a game, like just have that kind of connection. And then we can help you build out in the business world, whatever aspect you're looking into. So I just think that we have to guide these kids in some shape, way, or form, or fashion.
I agree. And I think this, you know, that this will be the nice kind of hybrid of how, you know, brUTherhood and Clark Field or any of these places can work. Cause that's what I try to be as a conduit to talk to the kids and say, hey, this is when you're in this room, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. We had it was funny in football. I had this one kid, he's a sweet kid, but he was like, I want you to help me get my followers up. And you know, of course, and I said, okay, cool. Happy to do that. So that night we had an event. And at the event, he sat at a table in the corner on his phone the whole time because he didn't want to talk to anybody. And then, you know, a week later, he called me. He's like, hey, man, my followers still haven't gone up. I'm like, well, man, when you're out there, because there's, you know, 100 fans there, there's a few super powerful people in the room. And I'm like, use me. Like, tell me who you want to meet, what kind of people you want to meet, or just stand by me and I'll take you around the room and say, meet this person, meet that person. Because, you know, the funny part is all those people want to meet him. And so it's
a comfort zone.
Right. Like what Roy is saying, like it just would make guys, because I know when I was that age, going up to somebody who's established or successful was like, oh hell nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if Royal Ivey be like, all right, hey DJ, come meet my man, you know, cool guy, you know, he owns 30 Chick-fil-A's, you know, get his number, y'all exchange
franchising,
number. You know, at that age, that's easier and more comfortable for, I think, these college kids and these younger kids. I didn't get the way I was until the latter part of my career. I go up to anybody now and talk to them. I don't care what they do, you know, and offer, like Roy said, take them, hey, let's go to dinner. You know, my treat, you know, let's go play golf. You know, just I learned those things and built up that courage over the years. But initially, I wasn't always like that. And I think that's important. You know,
That's a great
Right.
point. Well, let's make that a thing. You know, I think we can create an event in the summer, like when everybody's back. Like let's get y'all in the room. Let's get a lot of the the fans, the donors, the right
panel.
people.
We can have a panel and just open up the panel. Like, I
We can
think
do a
that'd
podcast from there.
because the crazy thing is, a lot of these people, like you said, they want to know these guys. They want to just have a conversation with these players, and these, even us as NBA players when we played and stuff. Like these courtside season ticket holders, courtside people, they just want you to come speak to them.
They're
Hey, what's up, man?
salivating,
You enjoying the game, man? I like your watch, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, them shoes. They looking for that kind of stuff, and you do that. Hey, man, just take my number, man. Let's get together.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
that
gonna show you
simple.
something. I want to show you something.
They
I wanna help
want
you out.
They
want
want
to help you.
They want to be a part of that.
We human beings. Listen, we're in the business of entertainment, which is athletics, and we're human. And guys make a lot of money, and there's some people that sit in the court side that make triple what we make. That we don't even know that. We're not even privy to think that way. Like we think we're at the top of the hill, but there's guys that are, in the tech world that are killing it. And it's just like, how can you bridge the gap? How can you expand, guys thinking, to not just be narrow-minded? That's the whole thing. It's like, we have to embrace these young guys and then show them how to do it, because nobody showed us how to do it. We developed, but we can kind of expedite it a little bit and kind of make it organic.
Well, I think you guys just drew up the blueprint, right? I think we need to do some events like that where we get all y'all up on stage talking, and then afterwards it's a mixer, and we invite, a lot of these business people as well as the current former players, and really create this, exactly what we're talking about, this brotherhood with the UT in it, and
we're
really
going to sell merch.
Yeah.
Brotherhood hoodies.
hoodies.
That used to be my favorite, man. That used to be my favorite. Like I said in the beginning of my career, I used to hate going to that kind of stuff, those mixers and galas and stuff like that. That ended up being my favorite things to go to, man. I would leave out of there. Oh, I have a pocket full of business cards, and I'm emailing everybody the next day. Hey, man, this DJ, nice meeting you. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're a businessman. That's a hustle.
But I wasn't like that, is what I'm saying. So like Nick saying, like you saying, man, just showing them the right.
But we didn't have that community either. Like we built the community, and then it kind of dissipated, and now it's coming back together. It's coming back together. We're slowly, because guess what? The guys of your generation, basketball wise, then look at LaMarcus. He's transitioning to retirement. Kevin, he's probably got another 4 or 5 years. He probably could play until he's 40 if he wanted to. But now, guys are going to be slowing down a little bit, and this is the perfect time, to, jump on the saddles and move with this one, because we got a lot of guys that we need to connect the dots with and move this initiative to build this brotherhood out in the right factor, with the podcast, with, the things we can do in the community, with the panels, with coming back together and formulating clinics and things of that nature. I'm all for it. Like I said, Texas has definitely been, it's home. It's my second home. So
For sure.
I'm forever indebted to Texas, and I love Texas.
Well, I think that's a great point to kind of wrap on. And I think, this is, this has been fun, guys. And I think coming up, we'll have some special guests that people will be excited about. We'll have some, especially in the off season when, things aren't as active. I do think we'll have some transfer portal updates and things like that. But I think it'll be a good time for us to kind of connect with a lot of the, the people y'all are tight with, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, former, current, all of these things. So I think that's something people can look forward to.
You got to let us know who you want on this podcast. Who would be number one on this podcast? Because anybody you say, we can go get. That's going to happen for sure.
Business people, everybody.
Business. We going to have some business people in there too.
For sure.
We're going to mix it up, I we're going to talk some business. I'm going to break out my books.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It's been fun. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
And we out.